this ball out quick, and you see the safeties there? They're going to pick out the guy to double they want. One of these guys is going to come down.
Going deep for Gallup. Oh, and he hauls it in! Could be what turns out as the game-winning catch to set up a field goal. That right foot was at the line for a second Cowboy victory. Oh, it's good! Barely.
You did not think that was going in again, did you? You thought that was fading outside. I almost gave you the, oh my goodness, as well.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 5 of the True Serum. Thank you guys for joining me. Let's get to it. The Dallas Cowboys took care of the New York Giants. It wasn't easy by the score of 37-34. Greg the Leg Zuerlein with his unusual golf-like kicks where they take flight to one way and then it goes the other way, and we're sitting there with bated breath saying, oh, he made it, and he barely got it in the uprights. So the Cowboys find a way to collectively breathe a sigh of relief because they broke the 2-game losing streak against non-divisional opponents and got their first win in the division against the New York Giants, who, by the way, were looking for their very first win of the season, and now they're sitting at 0-5. The Cowboys are 2-3 now, and we have a team right now that's dealing with a rash of injuries. As well as everyone knows, Dak Prescott suffered a dislocated and basically a broken ankle, and it was dislocated, and some ligaments were moved out of place, and he's out for the 2020 season. And he is also on a 1-year contract. But I want to push that to the side and say it's very unfortunate for the leader of this team. He is by far one of the most charismatic, loved, appreciated men that play this game the right way, carries himself the right way, both on the field and off the field, and is a model leader, model citizen for people to follow. He's my 1A. He's my favorite player on the Cowboys roster. He's been that way since 2016 when he took over for Tony Romo in that preseason game in Seattle, and he's carried himself, like I said, like a model citizen. And with all that's been thrown at him while repping the star, saying all the right things constantly, whether that's to the detriment of what other people may feel. Even myself, I've been guilty of being upset at him because of certain things he chose to say. He understands the platform that he stands on. And because of that, I feel like the Cowboys have not done him a due diligence with getting his contract handled. And by far, I'm like, what does the man have to do? Does he really have to prove that he's like Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson when in fact he already has proven that he is with the numbers that he's put up? It's just unfortunate that the team that's surrounding him, as far as on defensive side and certain players on offense, have faltered. And of course, he's not without blame. I mean, for the past 4 weeks, the Cowboys have turned the ball over on offense, and it's become obscenely a bad habit. And it's created more problems for this team going forward versus them just outright beating a team. They're beating themselves. And so I don't want to jump on the team too much, but I do want to say I appreciate Prescott for who he is and his ever-evolving abilities as a quarterback in this league. And not only that, I mean, there's hardly a teammate on the team right now with the Cowboys that don't appreciate that guy. And around the league, you saw it, a number of tweets were sent out by a multitude of players who love the guy, who appreciate the guy, and who are feeling his pain for what he gives to the game and what he gives off of it. And for him to be, unfortunately, sidelined for the rest of the season with a dislocated ankle, it's just unfortunate. However, if anybody can handle this kind of adversity, it's Dak Prescott, Rain Dakota Prescott. It's what is in his DNA. I mean, it's what he's been bred by, as far as losing his mother to his brother committing suicide. I mean, the man has been dealt such a bad hand, and all he does is fight and says the right things and keeps going and going and going. And it's like a testament to his true character. And those, we all know, those kind of guys don't get slighted. They actually eventually win in life. It's what we want to pour into the younger generation. If you're a teacher, or if you're a parent, you want your kids to be able to persevere through life's challenges. And so he has shown tremendous resolve, and he will do it again. It's not something that he's not unusual or unfamiliar with. And so we shall see him bounce right back come April or early May, late May, or basically in a month of the late spring, right before the summer. We should see him going out there working with the quarterbacks and talking with McCarthy and getting reps in, doing his footwork, all that stuff. And it'll be like, hey, did he even miss a beat? Because that's just who Dak Prescott is. So my heart goes out to him. He's a warrior. He's a fighter. He's already in good spirits. He'll be back. I just hate him missing out on a career season. But he has so much to look forward to, and he will get paid handsomely, and he will be consistently competing in this league. It's not a career-threatening injury, just a setback for a major, major comeback. But let's get to these boys going against the Giants. Battle of the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. Now, I know what you're thinking. Unstoppable force, immovable object. Yeah, the Cowboys' unstoppable force is their defense being as weak as it is, allowing the most yards and points in Cowboys history, in franchise history, allowing the most yards and points, and through 5 weeks. And you're going against the Giants, who by far have one of the worst offenses scoring points-wise, averaging 9 points a game. So it was one of the things that was one of the main topics of discussion was, how are the Cowboys going to be able to stop a team that can't score points? Or how was the Giants going to be able to blow up the scoreboard against a team that can't stop you when they don't score? So that is what took place. The Cowboys gave up a amount of yards and a amount of points, just like they did the previous 4 or 5 weeks. So what we're looking at is a team that's very, very untalented. But what's going to happen going forward is they're going to dial it down a lot on all the different nuances, according to Mike Nolan and Mike McCarthy. They're going to dial it down and make it simplistic, only for the players to execute that much quicker, be much more instinctive, be able to play freely and get to the ball, get to the quarterback, make plays, do what they're supposed to do instead of thinking and putting themselves on the back of their heels, trying to figure it all out. So they went back to the basics. Mike Nolan came off of the press box, got right on the sideline, and was coaching the guys up. Cowboys still gave up yards, still gave up points. But there was a certain level of energy that they hadn't had in a while. They weren't out there thinking. They weren't out there trying to figure what the next play was, as much as they were trying to figure out how to just get to their spot. There were times where, yeah, they were caught looking and trying to figure things out. And naturally, when you do that, according to Tony Romo and even Rob Marinelli, from what I heard, the more you're looking, the more you see. If you're not looking, then you won't see anything. You just do your job. And I'm paraphrasing the quote. However, I know that the Cowboys have been guilty of trying to think too much. And when you're trying to think too much in the NFL with NFL speed, you're already behind and you're chasing versus pursuing and making a play. The Cowboys, once again, started off in a deep hole. Turnovers. Now they have, according to NFL statistics, the 7 fumbles, which basically leads the league in fumbles. But the interesting thing was Dak threw an over-the-head pass to Zeke, and they then landed in a linebacker's arms, and he's racing to the end zone, and Dallas is down 14-3. Now, when I say about the fumbles, that came by Andy Dalton later on, after the during the second series that he was out there. Ball came right into his hands while he's under center. Ball pops out. He can't land on it the right way. The Giants get the ball, and then they end up scoring in like 3 to 4 plays. Cowboys have to stop turning the ball over. That's just something that whatever is going on with them mentally, it just has to stop. Their defense is not good enough, and you keep putting yourself in deeper holes for whatever reason. And yes, you climb out of them because your offense is really, really good with your wide receivers, and your running back and your tight ends are legitimately serviceable, but you're still making it too hard for yourself because too many things can go wrong while you're trying to make a comeback. And that makes it even harder for you to win ball games because you're putting yourself in a hole that you can't climb out of consistently. It's going to catch up to you and you're going to fall short. They've already lost games because of it, and they're going to lose more if they don't figure that out. However, they fight back, and they tie the ball game up. Really good drive, getting the ball down the seam to CeeDee Lamb. Love that kid. And he's just a rookie 5 games in, and he's playing better than 80% of veterans right now, if you ask me. Dak has a really good weapon in him, and Andy Dalton's going to love him too if they use him in the same capacity. Cedric Wilson, man, that is what I love to see when it comes to the Cowboys' depth. Players out of nowhere that were sitting on the depth chart, get an opportunity, and now they look like a number 1 for any team. You put that guy, Cedric Wilson, on the Jets or maybe even the Giants, Cardinals, any team that's short of a wideout, he'll be legitimately good. But this is not something that I'm new to. Mike McCarthy has done this when he was in Green Bay. They didn't depend on 1 to 2 wide receivers. They had a smorgasbord of receivers to use. You would think of Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, James Jones. You're used to those kind of names. But they had some other guys that popped out of nowhere. Before he left, it was Devontae Adams. And you got guys who are just cast-offs. I don't know how he does it, but McCarthy's done the same thing here in a short amount of time with wide receivers. And it's what he does. He just finds a way to get the ball into these guys' hands, and then they are really good at their job. Running routes, being serviceable, catching the ball, getting down the field, doing what they're supposed to do. What we really want to see is the evolution of the offensive line. And hopefully that run game will come up and become even better for Andy Dalton now that Dak Prescott is, off the field and, dealing with injury and, he's on IR and everything. So what I'm looking to see with the Cowboys is that they get back to being a little bit more balanced. They were being a little more balanced with Dak, and that slowed the game down for the defense. You can't be slinging it all down the field all the time, scoring at will, but then at the same time, you can't stop anybody. You got to slow the game down and play a little bit of ball control and then execute and score points. You might give yourself a better chance to win. Man, the defense got a turnover. Shocker. I know, an absolute shocker. DeMarcus Lawrence, whom everybody's been throwing stones, chairs, torches, everything at him. Everybody was coming at him. He gets a strip sack. Anthony Brown, welcome back from injury, scoops it up on a blitz. Mike Nolan dials up a blitz where Anthony Brown shoots the B gap, and DeMarcus Lawrence comes around, and next thing you know, strip, Daniel Jones, sacked. Anthony Brown scoops it up, runs into the end zone. Cowboys are now back in the game. They need more of that. They can't just stop teams 3 and out, 4 and out, or whatever. They're going to have to force the ball out of the hands of the offense. If they don't do it, they're not going to beat teams. And that's just the way it is. So, DeMarcus Lawrence, part of my star up. Let's talk about how, man, we're worried about whether or not Andy Dalton can handle the job of being a backup. Yes, he can. He's been a starter in this league for almost 8 to 10 years. Got the Cincinnati Bengals into the playoffs a handful of times. And now he has a nice supporting cast. And McCarthy's going to coach him up. Green Bay, McCarthy's used to injury. He's had Aaron Rodgers miss a few more than a handful of games before and found ways to make it work with backups. So right now, it's frustrating to think about the Cowboys not taking care of Dak, but at the same time, you got to have a little glimmer of hope because your backup is not Brandon Whedon, Matt Castle, or Kellen Moore. Any of those guys. You have capable backups here. It's not Romo 2015 situation. And the Cowboys knew that they were going to have to take care of that, and I'm glad they did. I sincerely think that they're going to adjust some things here and there, but the offense is still maintain a certain flow, an ebb and flow for success. Let's get to my star up and star down. Man, DeMarcus Lawrence. And for all those who are wondering, man, finally he shows up. He has been playing his butt off for the past 5 weeks on a bad knee. He finally gets an opportunity. He makes the most of it. Enjoy it when it happens. We are always beggars, but then we complain when, it didn't happen often enough. Be happy that it actually happened. You got a strip sack and you scored off of a turnover, and you didn't have to wait on the offense to do all the work. Defense helped. It's incredible to watch and enjoy it. Man, Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup. He's elevating himself into being that, not just every down receiver, because he is a number one, according to Mike McCarthy, and I agree. But he's becoming that big play receiver that, honestly, no matter where he is on the field, you throw it up to him, 9 times out of 10, he's going to go up and find a way to get the ball. I told you that against Seattle. The ball just comes to him like a magnet. He can just jump, snatch it, or he can catch it sliding with both feet and lands in bounds. I mean, come on. There's not 1 week that goes by that he hasn't had some kind of circus catch. And a lot of times these moments happen when the Cowboys are in a desperation mode to get down the field to try to get the game within reach or win the game with a field goal. He's just that guy that you have to account for. You can worry about Cooper, you can dang sure try to worry about CD, but Gallup is over there too. And that makes it that much harder for defenses on when you try to double team this guy or focus coverage on the middle of the field and he's one-on-one against a DB that's not necessarily the best DB you got. You allow him to go one-on-one down up the seam or down the sideline, good luck. Greg Zuerlein, I don't know how he does it. Swing the leg into a certain position when he's struggling for his confidence and still find a way to get that ball to land in the uprights. I mean, 2 field goals that were by this much. And each time you hear Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are like, oh my gosh, he barely made it, And Cowboys walk away with a victory off of his leg once again. So, let's appreciate those 3 guys for contributing to this Cowboys victory. And I want to throw in a bonus one. Watch the Cowboys Mic Up segment. If you follow him on YouTube, Zeke picked up the slack as a leader, and he's already been doing this, but I think it's something that a lot of fans don't really pay attention to. Zeke is becoming more of a vocal leader. He understands his role on the football team, on the roster. He understands his role as a locker room guy, and he's going to be even more vocal because he knows his role on this team. Franchise guy. He's going to pick up the slack for Dak. Watch and learn and listen to what he's doing and watch what he's doing. Listen to what he's saying. His model is now set. For all those who were doubting him early on in his career about his maturity, I feel like he's already hit it in stride and has been hitting his maturity level in stride, and we're just sitting here marveling at it. Appreciate it. The Cowboys have a backup now that will give them a chance in every game. There's no, we just have to suffer through a 4-12 season and hope that we get a top 4 or top 5 pick. No, this ain't 2015. The Cowboys come in every game expecting to win. You talk to McCarthy, he's already thinking, hey, we got to do what we can to make sure Andy Dalton is giving us the best chance. So that means we have to give him the best chance. Defense got to get more turnovers. Like, he's already game planning for success, not trying to get by. That's how it used to be under the old regime under Garrett. Love seeing Garrett try to lead the team, but his mentality was off with not holding every player equally accountable and also trying to figure out ways how to get it done. You're missing a quarterback, you're missing a linebacker, you're missing an offensive line, a player, a position, or whatnot. You figure a way how to get it done and not leave any doubt that this team can compete regardless of circumstances. That's what McCarthy is for. That's what he was brought in for. Not just with Super Bowl, of course, that's the ultimate goal, but to deal with what he's dealing with right now in year one. The Cowboys will go on to face the Arizona Cardinals. Now, if you're from Dallas-Fort Worth like me, I've watched the Cardinals starting quarterback, Kyler Murray. I've watched him since he was a sophomore in high school. He demolished my alma mater 3 times in the playoffs. So I'm fully aware of what he's capable of. He's doing exactly what he did when he was in high school to these NFL linebackers and DBs. Forget defensive tackles and DNs. He's getting to the second level, making them look like high school kids. Cowboys got their hands full with this kid, and he is going to give them problems. My hope is that the Cowboys are constantly corralling him. He might get 4 or 5 yards here, 5, 6 yards there. Don't let him beat you by reaching. Run and get to him, please. And then you got to deal with their number 1 receiver that they traded for this offseason in DeAndre Hopkins. I'm imagining that Trayvon Diggs will get the call to deal with him. Cowboys got to pay close attention to the small things, turnovers, penalties, and just doing your job. If they handle up, they should have a chance at the end. I'm not saying I'm going to guarantee a victory, but they should have a chance, whereas in times past, I wouldn't really give them one because the Arizona Cardinals are not necessarily that team yet, but they will compete. Surely they will. Appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. We have another week of Cowboys football to be happy about, finally. But at the same time, there's still a lot of work to be done. And hopefully they will come out with another victory at home and stretch their lead to more than 1 game in the NFC East. Have a blessed week. See you guys next time. Peace.